Hey, shalom, shalom, family. What's going on? What's going on, y'all? Peace and blessings. Good morning. Good morning. As you see behind me, it's morning time. The sun is just coming up. I tried to do this a little bit earlier, but something was going on. It wouldn't. Um, I didn't see it. I don't know what. I don't know what was happening. But yeah, it's morning time. So good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are tuning in, guys. Look, I'm trying to keep it quiet, short and sweet, real quick, cause did y'all see what happened yesterday, or did you hear what happened yesterday? If you know, or if you don't know, I'm still gonna tell you. So this is why I say it's important to have the information. It's important to get the understanding of how money moves, right? It's important, especially when you are in this investing world, when you are starting to um, learn this skill set, right? So it was $1 trillion wiped out of the stock market yesterday. Um, Another thing, South Korea stock market, it was down what, 10% in one day? That's a big drop. That's a big drop in one day, right? So that affected the stock market in a way. So $1 trillion from the US stock market, 10% down in the South Korea stock market. Um, as you guys know, I'm a trader when it comes to Forex. So I was paying attention to the US dollar, JPY, Japanese yen. That was moving a little crazy, right? Um, it's just a lot that's happening. And I'm talking about this because you have to follow the money in a way. You got to pay attention to the money, right? So even the euro USD, that was moving different also. So with all this going on, I'm like, what is really going on, right? What is really happening? I'm not sure what's going on. So when I start thinking like that, I start to do some research, and that was it. Um, the U.S. dollar is strong. I tell you that. So that's good for me right now because I'm outside of America, right? Because the U.S. dollar can stretch a little bit longer, right? Um, I'm not sure how that is going to affect people in America, but that's something to pay attention to. As the US dollar is strong, is that good for Americans that's in America? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. As the US dollar is strong, that is good for people outside of America making USD in a country that is, 40 to 60% cheaper, right? The cost of living and things. So our dollar is going to stretch a little bit more. So that's something that is happening. And it I was watching a video and this guy made a good point of why the US dollar is strong. It's because there's a shortage of US dollar around the world, right? So there's a liquidity problem. Liquidity is what makes the market move. It's like the loose change, right? In the world, pretty much that, if it's some loose change up top on a chart, so if you don't know, when you're looking at a chart, it's going to be like lines and candles, right? Those lines is pretty much the loose change that's left over so the market can grab. So it might be some up top, might be some up bottom. So that's how you can kind of get an understanding where the market's going to go. And the US dollar, yeah, it took all the liquidity out and reversed and went it's going up. So it's been stronger and stronger. So right now I think it's like at 101.5 something, and we haven't seen that since last year. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying this because something's big's about to happen. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but when things like this happen, um, you just got to pay attention. You really got to be discerning. Like it's really time. I know we are coming up on a feast day too. That's another thing. That's like more spiritual in a way. So, guys, if you are tuning in just now, make sure you like the video. When you come in the chat, let me know where you are tuning in from. Good morning to you, or good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are in the world. But I greatly appreciate it. When you are in the chat, make sure you like the video. But yeah, feast day, first fruits, feast of weeks, right? Um, it is coming up. I'll say, what's the date today? 24th. So just from my understanding, right? Me and my household, I'll say the next couple weeks, next 3 weeks or something. So you got to understand the people that knows these things and the seasons and how feast days lines up. That's important too. So that's something that I started to notice because I do pay attention to, the sun, moon, and stars when it comes down to the calendar and stuff like that. I'm not like out there telling people, oh, you like telling people, hey, you're wrong, I'm right. No, I'm not that type of person. I just observe, I follow what the Most High put on my heart, what the Most High put on my mind. You get what I'm saying? What the Most High put on my spirit. So, um, but I do start to notice these things when these feast days comes up. Something they need in a way like sacrifices, and I'm not trying to like say it in a bad way. Well, yes, it is bad for them because they do some wicked stuff, right? But I'm saying all this because it really ties in. This is what I noticed. It ties in to all of what is about to happen, right? Um, because they need people to be fearful. They need people to be confused. You get what I'm saying? They need people to um they need people's energy, right? So that is something huge. That's why I say you got to stay on this narrow path. You really have to just keep your head down and focus on you and your household, right? Shalom, shalom, family. Peace and blessings to you. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. If you are just now tuning in, um, make sure you like the video. Greatly appreciate it. But yeah, that's why I say like you just have to, and it's so better outside of America because I know America throws all this chaos and distractions um, in front of people. Of course, we hear it, but we just don't have that feeling of the weight on our shoulders to like moving around America, right? So that's why we say outside of America is so much better, so much peaceful. It really is. Um, but I'm saying this because it all ties together. And that's a perfect example. Just like at the beginning of the video, I was talking about, if you guys just now tuning in at the beginning of the video, I was talking about what happened yesterday. Did you guys hear what happened yesterday? If you did not, I'm gonna tell you. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Coming in from okay, move from Chicago. Oh, so yeah, all praise. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, Columbus, Ohio. I remember Whitehall, Yearling right there, right by the Target. Yep. All praises. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys. So yesterday, $1 trillion was lost in the stock market, right? And to the average person, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, like what the heck? 1 trillion?" No, this happens a lot, and it happens around earnings time too. If you guys don't know, the stock market they deal with quarters, right? The first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, right? Each quarter they gotta bring out their earnings of what they made in that quarter and stuff like that. And the second quarter they're starting to bring out earnings. So this is a good time to get in and get out, depending on what the stock is, depending on what they project and what they made and things like that. So if you don't know about the stock market, guys, look, You already know what I'm gonna say. You really got to understand this. $1 trillion was wiped out, and that's because the South Korean stock market. That's why I say it's all tied together. So that's why I was breaking down um, the feast days and stuff like that, and how things like this happens around certain times of the year. But it's all tied together. South Korea, 10% down. Their stock market, 10%. The whole stock market. It wasn't just like I'm not sure what, like $1 trillion in American. Let's say it might be like 3 to 5% down. So 10%, I'm not sure exactly the number in South Korea, but that went down. So that affected the stock market, and it went down $1 trillion. So I was explaining how everything is tied together. So South Korea 10% affected the stock market in the US $1 trillion. Yesterday, if you guys don't know, I'm a trader, so I do trade forex. I do invest in the stocks. I'm starting to learn options real heavy. So things like that you got to pay attention to, right? So I was looking at charts yesterday for forex, and the Euro USD, that was moving funny. Well, it wasn't moving funny. It's just you would think that it's going to bounce off certain levels, but it didn't, just because of the dollar was so strong. Even with um, USD JPY, or US dollar Japanese yen, that was moving a little weird. It was like putting big wicks, and just like I was explaining, if you guys are just now tuning in, when the stock or the forex market or the stock market leave wicks on a chart. So it's candles and wicks, right? Lines. And those lines is like loose change. Those lines is like liquidity where the market needs to grab and reverse the other way, right? But that was happening with the USD, um, US dollar, and Japanese yen. So it was just something like real off. Like the things was moving weird yesterday, right? So I'm saying that because all of this ties together. So that's why I'm like that. That's a forex. That's a different market from the stock, or it's the same but it's different. Forex is a foreign exchange market. So exchanging US dollar, exchanging Japanese yen, exchanging euro, exchanging US dollar, right? So that's money being exchanged. Stock market is more like companies and things like that. So all of this is tied together. That's what it comes down to. All of this is tied together, and you have to be careful. That's why we always say pay attention to what's going on outside of America too, like with the news channels and things like that, because that is important. Just like South Korea yesterday, like nobody will be talking about that, but that affected American stock market. So that is important right there. But that US dollar, that thing is pumping. So just like I was saying earlier, I'm not sure if you guys was are just now tuning in. If you are, make sure you like the video, leave a comment below, and let me know where you tuning in from. It's morning time here, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Um, but yeah, that US dollar right now is pumping. Is pretty strong right now, so that's good for me outside of America. That means that we can spend less dollars and get more here, right? Or just say if we do spend the same amount of dollars, it's going to stretch a little bit more here. So, for example, our rent will probably, so just say if when the US dollar was below a certain level, our rent would probably be like 1,200. Let's just round it up, 1,200, right? But now our rent could be like 1,100. You get what I'm saying? So as the US dollar is strong, that means that, hey, we can pay less on rent. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just an example of how to take advantage of your cost of living when you're outside of America, right? And that's very important. That's why we try to tell people, focus on your cost of living. If you can stretch your cost of living, if you can have a lower cost of living, that is going to help you long term. that is really going to help you long term. That's something that you really have to consider. Um, and like I say, I break this down all in a mature adult intensive. So if you guys are thinking about traveling, if you are thinking about moving, this is the perfect program for you because this is 4 weeks that we're having intense conversations. We have a 20-page workbook that we go through and things like that. So you got the information there right in front of you, and plus you got the information from the people that's in there, the people that's in the WhatsApp group that traveled here to Mauritius, that traveled to Kenya, that went to West Africa, that went to Botswana, you get what I'm saying? That went to Kenya. So it's just a community of like minded people. So if you guys are interested in the mature adult intensive, cohort 10, this is the 10th time that we're doing this. And all praises for that. Hallelujah. Um, yeah, so there's about like 40 people in the group, um, in a mature adult intensive. So everyone they they work together and it's mature adults. It's mature adults. So that's a plus. I'm telling you, that's something that we were talking about this last call. We just ended week 4, and we were kind of talking about how a lot of countries are stopping foreigners, mostly Americans, Black Americans, to be honest, and this is truthful. Um, they don't want them in the country, right? Because we have some ignorant folks, you know, and they don't know how to not be ignorant. Their mindset is just off, right? Their mindset is just stuck at a certain level of um yeah, their mindset is not mature, right? So these people go to countries and act a butt and act a fool, um, and that ruins, Black Americans' reputation, right? But that's a real thing. That's a real thing that's happening in a lot of countries. Um, and even I was watching a video of this guy. I believe he was in Kenya, and he was saying that somebody was trying to like get him to buy something, and he kept tapping his shoulder, kept walking with him, and just trying to get him to buy. Like, come on, man. He was like, no, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm okay. Like, I'm okay, man. I'm good. I don't want it. Right? The guy kept going, kept going. So of course that's going to upset him, and then he kind of like puffed up his chest, like, bruh, I don't want it. Watch out. This is like getting an attitude with him. Then the local person was like, oh, well, you go back to your country. We don't like you Black Americans. And it's just like, dang. So if someone's saying that, that's how they really feel, to be honest. Like it's always, and if you don't know, we are special people, right? We are special people. We are set apart people. So if we are set apart, special people, we should be separated, right? Um, and that's something to really think about. And these other nations, these other nations is going to be some type of jealous, right? So that's something to consider. That's why I say just stay on this narrow path, keep your head down, and do what you got to do for your household until that time comes for us to gather. So yeah, shalom, shalom, family. What's going on, Ricky? What's going on, Ak? Yeah, guys, make sure you like the video if you are just now tuning in. Make sure you like the video if you are just now tuning in. Make sure you comment below. Let me know where you guys tuning in from. I got my neighbor here. Well, I got two of my neighbors, I could say. Or I guess was my neighbor from Columbus, Ohio. Um, got my other neighbor in a African country in Zambia. So yes, guys, welcome, welcome. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to you and your household. But yeah, I was just let me see. I know some more people got in here. Okay, Canada, that's different. Yes, shalom from Canada. Yes, that's different. Greetings, greetings, peace and blessings to you, Don P. Ben Yehuda. Welcome. Thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in. Um, yeah, I was talking about the stock market of what happened yesterday, the $1 trillion um, wipe off, and then South Korea, 10% of their stock market crash. So that affected the American stock market, USD, JPY, US dollar. Um, Japanese yen, that was moving different. The euro was moving different. Um, the U.S. dollar is pretty strong right now. So for me and my aunt in Zambia, that's pretty good. But I'm not sure if that's going to be good for people in America. So when things like this happens, you got to think, or you got to like kind of step back and like analyze and see like what is really about to happen, right? And I know it's earning time, so the stock market, Q2, the earnings that's coming in and stuff like that, the things that companies have to do every um okay, I'm sorry, I just got a message. I was just making sure it wasn't something important. But yeah, the earnings come. Companies has to do this to show their money and see how much money they're projected to make. See how much money they did make without like lying. So yeah, that's something right there. But yeah, yeah, guys, make sure you like the video. Make sure you let me know where you guys tuning in from. Okay, from Jersey, currently living in Texas. Man, we know a lot of people in Texas. My nephew is actually in Texas. So yeah, Texas is a beautiful, beautiful place. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so I was saying all this, right? Because everything is tied together, right? And even with feast days and seasons changing, everything is tied together. So this is something that I noticed is always going to be a cycle too. It's going to be a cycle. That's why I say spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it's going to be tied together. And that's something once you, I guess, once I don't want to say once you get older, I guess once you continue to grow and be wiser and have the understanding and have the discernment and, have the discipline and patience and control of, you know, yeah, I'll say control. Um, you will start to notice certain things. So once I really started to dig deep into investing and trading, I noticed that a lot of things lines up when it comes down to feast days, when it comes down to, um, you know, around the times that we are supposed to be celebrating certain feasts. And we know that they know the truth, the people all the way up. I'm not talking about just the regular palm people, right? I'm talking about the people that really understand who we are and whose we are and what we need to celebrate and things like that. So like Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, trumpets, atonement, tabernacles. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I noticed that it's all tied together when it comes down to it. And I'm saying this because that's a perfect example of what just happened yesterday of South Korea. So South Korea is way over here, but the US is way over there. Oh, Japan's way over here. Oh, you know, Europe is way over here. You get what I'm saying? That's why I say it's important to make sure you pay attention to what is going on worldwide. Um, that's important. To be honest, I really thought the stock market this week, or I guess I say oil. I really thought oil was going to spike up. To be honest, but it's staying level. And I just saw a video. I want you guys to listen to this with me. Where is it? Where is it? About the prime minister in Israel. He not playing games, so
The United States, they say that President Trump does everything that I ask him to do. And in Israel, they
just
say
pay attention, listen real
that
quick.
I do everything he wants me to do. Well, neither is true. We're leaders of independent and proud countries. We stand for our interests. I stand for the interests of Israel. And often we see eye to eye. Sometimes we don't. And I say to you now what I said at my brother's grave just a few hours ago, today. I said, no matter what happens in the talks, with an agreement, without an agreement, I pledge to you that Iran, as long as I'm prime minister, will never have a nuclear weapon. Never. As long as I am the prime minister of Israel, I will not let that happen. And I said something else about Lebanon. I said, as long as we need to protect our people, we will remain in the security zone in South Lebanon. And the reason is perfectly understood. No country would be asked to do otherwise. Now you imagine the United States. Across the border, you have thousands, an army of thousands of terrorists who pellet your cities and your towns with rockets and ballistic missiles and killer drones. They kill your soldiers, they kill your citizens, they kill your children, and they threaten them every day. Well, what would America do? Would it say, well, there's nothing we can do? Let's hold our fire? Is that what America would say? No. You know damn well what America would do. It would cross the border, create a security zone, kill the terrorists, and protect its people until the threat is removed. That's exactly what we are doing.
Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, he not playing. He said, look, he not stopping. Basically, that's basically what it is. He's not going to stop with Iran. So whatever Trump and JD Vance and Iran talking about, man, because I believe it's so confusing. It's something too. It's very confusing, the news, because you see JD Vance in Switzerland or something doing peace deals, but you hear Iran is not agreeing, right? And it's like, what is going on? Then you hear the the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and then you hear Iran saying, "Yeah, it's open, but we're not going to charge." Or it's so confusing to me. That's why some when this stuff when you start to or when I start to get confused, I just back up and just breathe for a second and just be like, "Okay, um, what's about to happen?" Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Bring on a reset. Like they playing with us. They playing with people's emotions. They need that energy to feed off of. I'm telling you. I'm telling you guys. That's why I say stay on this narrow path, be set apart, separate from America. Separate from America. I tell you that. It's so much better. So much better outside of America. It's so many examples where you will really just have to live it. You know, you have to talk to people that actually is living it. Um, yeah, exactly. I was just talking about that. Yes, shalom, shalom for the newcomers. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you let me know where you tuning in from. Exactly. They're playing with us, and he's killing the stock portfolio. Yeah, yeah. It's real out here, especially if you are an investor. Like, man, you gotta be careful. You really gotta you gotta know how to move around. That goes with everything. That goes with everything, to be honest. You really gotta know how to move around. Um, but yeah, guys, talking about investing, I just made my 16 chapter, 80-page ebook. So, link in the description about investing and trading. So, this could be for beginners, this could be for intermediate and advanced. You know, this is the first of many. So, I'm going to be putting all my understanding, all my knowledge into some ebooks so people can learn how to. That's one thing that a lot of people always tell us when we are on consultations is, how do I generate income when I'm moving, right? Especially if you have your money generated in itself, right? um and making money. If your money's making money, that's a plus, right? But that's one thing that people need to learn how to do when you're moving abroad. So if you have a W-2 job that is remote, that's truly remote, that's a blessing. And you move abroad. So I know some people like that. All praises that they did that before they left though. So that's something to really consider. Or be an entrepreneur, learn how to use your skills and talents to monetize and start a business, right? But yeah, that's one thing people struggle with when they move abroad is monthly income, and that's something that's very very important. You have to have monthly income, weekly income, um, you know, bi-weekly income. That's very important, guys. So I know my wife, she's actually working on a book too. I keep telling her like, just go from the start, go from scratch to help people um, learn how to start a business from scratch. And when you do that, that means you have to be consistent. You see how much time. Just go to our page right now. You see how much times we post videos on here, and go to my wife's Instagram. I'm not. I'm just not a big social media fan. I never was. I'm trying to get better at it. But go to my wife's Instagram. Go to our YouTube channel page, and you will see how consistent we have been. Because this is something that you have to do to you know be out there, to be seen, right? So this is why I'm doing lives. I'm trying to do lives. So this morning, baby girl was up around like 5. So I was just like, man, let me just get up, put her back to sleep. And I'm like, man, I'm up now. So let me just do a live. Why not? Everyone's asleep, you know? Why not? Be consistent with it. So, for me, I like lives anyway because I can just talk to you guys real and things like that. So, yeah. But yeah, if you're looking for a remote opportunity, I'd say probably get it going before you leave America, before you leave your home country, because that's something that you got to do, or you got to just have a consistent income. So even that's something that I was breaking down in my ebook um, about dividend payments. So um, there's a couple companies. So, like if you invest in a stock and you continue to invest, right, they will pay you a dividend. They will give you a payment from what you invest, right? Depending on what the company is earning that, I guess, that quarter or. But I've been doing some research. I know it's a couple companies. I gotta look it up. It's on my phone here, so I can't look it up on live, guys. But just pay attention. I might do a post on YouTube and give you guys that information because you can get paid every Tuesday from a couple um, companies that pay dividends every week. So that's something, you invest your money, you get a small payment. You keep investing, you get a small payment. So that's something to really think about, dividend payments. Shalom, shalom, family. American man mentioned Trump is the last Republican that's supposed to be verified. Donald Trump. Trump is Trump. You are you. Um, that's how I feel about Trump. So every time I, so like people here, they say, "Oh, where are you from? South Africa?" They always think that we from South Africa, and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm from America." They say, "Oh, Trump. Oh, you like Trump?" And I'm like, Trump is Trump. I don't know what to say. He kills people's portfolio, or dang, I don't think I'm supposed to say that. Um, but yeah, he is good and bad at the same time. So you just gotta, yeah, that's another opinion right there. Yeah, shalom, shalom, family. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are tuning in from, guys. Make sure you like the video if you are in the live chat. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from in the comment section. Just let me know. So thanks for the super chat. Um, East Coast Kev, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the support. Um, but he said, I honestly don't see the West coming out of this. I'm really preparing to leave. Africa and Asia will be the next powerhouse, anyways. Yeah, of course. That's 100. That's 100% for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, for Yeah, I would say this side of the world, because you got to think of trading, like when they start to trade. So this is what we break down in the mature adult. We really go intense. This is why it's called the mature adult intensive, because we really go deep. We get like we talk about strategy, right? We talk about where is the best residencies and stuff like that, especially for American people. Um, where's the longest residencies? Where's the peaceful countries? Where um, you get what I'm saying? Where does it make sense to go, right? But yeah, I believe on this side of the world, especially where it's going to be ports. So that's something to think about too when it comes to trading. So just for example, I remember, was it earlier this year? Please let me know if you know what I'm talking about, guys. Um, I believe it was Uganda. Uganda was going after Kenya and was saying, "Hey, we own the ocean," right? And then they put out a map where, because look, Uganda is a inland country. So the president or prime minister of Uganda, he was saying we own the ocean, but it was a landlocked country, and they made a map where it's like a squiggle line to the ocean, to Uganda through Kenya. And that's something to really think about when you are moving to a country. Does that country have a a I guess access to ports? You know, the countries and the cities that's going to have ports near will get resources first, especially in a time of or in these last days, to be honest. So that's something to think about when you are thinking about moving to a country. Think about, how is the resources getting to them? Is the logistics solid? Like yeah, that's very important. Do they have trains? Do they have do they drive through countries just to get a shipment of food and things like that? So that's something to think about. Do you use a company to do your trades or by yourself? The diamond lady, I do it by myself. I do it with my team, right? My team is uh, I'm the leader, and I got a boss, is my wife. So yeah, that's my team. And my son, he's starting to get to it too. So we do trade, invest on our own, and we have a strategy with that too. So yeah, but yeah, back to the strategy. That's something that's very important. So guys, check the links in the description. If you guys are just now tuning in, make sure you like the video. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Greatly appreciate it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are in the world. But yeah, strategy is key. Strategy is key. Somebody said, due to the skyrocket cost of living for everything. Yeah, that US dollar. I was just saying this at the beginning of the video. That US dollar is pretty strong right now. So that's good for, me and a couple people in the chat because they're outside of America, right? But for Americans, is that good? That's the question that you have to ask. So just for example, I'll round up. If we pay $1,200 for rent, right? Usually, now we could pay like $1,100 or maybe less than 1,100 just because the dollar is strong. So that's why I say cost of living. If you can lower your cost of living, that's going to be something that's going to be helpful long term. It's going to be more sustainable long term. So um, that's something that you really got to consider. All praise that, man. East Coast Kev, appreciate it, bro. Man, all praises to you, man. Peace and blessings to you and your household. Um, Thanks for the super chat. Um, all kingdoms eventually fall. Rome, Greece, Egypt, and America will be no different. Let's work on the exit plan. We'll have to accept that some of your family and friends won't come with you. Man, that's the truest statement. I'm telling you. I was just talking to my brother the other day about how my family just don't get it, right? You know, I wish they was on this live and support like East Coast Kev. You get what I'm saying? But they just don't get it. You know, uh, for me, I'm the youngest of three older sisters, right? So that could be a factor in a way where they still look at me like Lil D, like Lil. My nickname from my family is DJ, so they call me Lil D. But yeah, I don't know if they look at me like that, but I know for me, I've grown so much as a man, as a husband, as a father. You get what I'm saying? As a brother, that yeah, I just don't think my family really understand who I am and whose I am and how I'm moving and how I'm on here, giving a lot of people information, giving people this knowledge where they need to move out of America and how to. You get what I'm saying? How to move out of America, how to sustain yourself long term, how to invest, how to, create your own stream of income. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's 100% true when it comes to family, and everybody's not gonna get it, guys. So this is what we break down in a mature adult. We be having some deep conversations, and it's good. It's truthful. That's one thing that a lot of people have to understand. Truth is going to stand, and truth is going to be obsolete pretty soon. And if you are not used to the truth, it's going to be it's going to seem uncomfortable to a lot of people because a lot of people are fake. A lot of people cannot recognize real, and real recognize real. Point blank. Period. Truth recognize truth. Truth recognize fake too. Appreciate it. I'm happy for you and proud of you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the kind words. Someone asked, "Do you have a vehicle? Is one needed in Mauritius?" That just depends. That depends on you and your lifestyle. For us, they just recently brought Uber here. So Uber, we can go like actually we have to go somewhere today, to like the main city to pick up our baby girl's birth abroad certificate or something like that. So I believe the last time that we um, went that far, we took a Uber. I believe it was like $16, and that was like 35, 40 minutes away. So it just depends on you. We can take a Uber 10, 15 minutes away, and it could be like $4, maybe even less, to be honest. So if you want a vehicle, yes, you just gotta learn how to drive on the opposite side of the road. You gotta learn how traffic moves and things like that. But for us, no, we don't have a vehicle because if we had a vehicle, we would need like a van or something like that. So yeah, it just really depends on you, to be honest, if you want a vehicle, but they do have rental vehicles here. Um, and yeah, this is what we break down all of the mature adult intensive, guys. So if you guys are interested, check the links in the description. The hedge is when the dollar is up, crypto is down. When crypto is up, dollar drops. Either way, you win. Yeah, yeah. All praises, Riggy. Thanks for that information. That's why I say it's very important to learn how to move around, to know where to put your money and when to take it out, recycle it, to just say when to just say like gold and a dollar I believe kind of moves similar. Um so just say like you get it the asset gold, and then you get an asset like Bitcoin or something. This is just an example, but this is something that I do break down behind the scenes too. So just say you invest in gold and the US dollar is pumping up, you know that gold is going to pump up, right? And when the US dollar start to slow down, gold is going to start to slow down. And that means that it's probably going to reverse soon. So, oh, maybe let me recycle that gold profit that I made and put it into some type of crypto. Let that pump up, and then that start to slow down just because the dollar is going down and now it's slowing down to reverse. Now you can recycle those profits and put it back into gold or something like that. So when it comes to trading and investing, you can learn these things and it's just a little bit more easier, but you just got to have the right platforms. You got to have the right knowledge. You got to see what's happening in the market. So, yes, make sure you guys check the links in the description, man. This is what I break down. This is what I break down. Just trying to help our community. Like I say, I'm just your brother. I'm just your brother. I'm your neighbor, and I love you. So all praises. Um, EB, he said, if you do stay in America and you need to grow your own food, if you're gonna stay, land is a must. Yes, that's something too. That's something that you really have to consider if you, because there are people that just cannot leave, right? That could be they can't get a passport. That could be health issues. That could be a lot. Um, I know me and my wife was having a conversation the other day about a situation that came up with someone, and we were just talking. I'm like, dang, that is crazy because if just say that like a child, just say like if the mother took care of the child or the father, either or, right, for years, right, and they want to move abroad, right, they would have to get permission from that other parent that signed the birth certificate. So of course the parent has to sign the birth certificate, but they would have to get permission from that other parent to move their child abroad. And it's situations that way. Like some people just don't want their child. It might be someone that has that understanding, that has that maturity, that understand that America is falling and stuff like that, and they need to get out. And then it could be um, another parent that just don't get it. They just love America, right? So that's something that is real. And if that one parent does not want their child to leave, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Especially if that parent is not taking care of it or taking care of the child full time, right? If one parent is taking care of the child full time and the other parent is is kind of like half time, that's something to really think about. But yeah, land in the must in America, I will say, yeah, when I think about land in America too, I think about all the chemical trails that they leave and spray and stuff like that. America is recycling their famine, put it like that. So they spray the skies, go get down to the land, make the soil not so great, right? So when you do grow food, you get into chemicals and stuff like that. So that's how I feel when it comes to land in America. But you know, land is an asset. You can borrow against it and stuff like that. So that is something to really think about. But you just have to be careful in certain areas. Okay. If you're diligent and started tonight, how long of a I believe you was saying time frame would it take to get from US to there? I believe it's like it depends on your flight. So there's a direct flight from Florida to South Africa to Mauritius. There's a flight from um I believe like New York or Miami or something that goes to Europe or the Middle East and then come to Mauritius. So that it just depends on your flight. So I would say 25 hours to 40 hours depending on layover and stuff like that. That's a shame referring to what you mentioned 3 minutes ago. Okay. Yes. Someone said I invest in gold and silver, which is biblical according to the Holy Bible. Yeah, all praises. Hallelujah. I'm so glad that you are invested. That's good. Check the links in the description for my ebook that I just released about investing and trading when it comes down to all of it. So 16 chapters, 80 pages, guys. Some good information. And this is just the beginning. So this is just a start. I'll say that. So I'm gonna break everything down to be honest. So all praises. Check the links in the description. Make sure you like the video. If you are just now tuning in, let me know where you are tuning in from in the comments. And yeah, we have a tool coming soon that is almost ready for launch, which will assist you in analytical AI analysis for risk mar- margin in your invest. Okay, yeah, that's good. I'm telling you, AI, that's something. Man, if you're not using AI, if you're not trying to learn it behind the scenes, you're gonna be left behind. Um, Learn how that's something where you can get certificates and use that for these governments outside of America. To be honest, you can start pitching governments and showing them certain things like that. So that could be a strategy if you learn an AI and getting certificates. So that's something that a lot of people have to um, just, I don't want to say just fall into it and just, you just got to be careful. But the information is there. You know, the Most High, if He does not want you to do something, He's not going to allow you to do it. But I feel like people look at AI like, of course we know the data centers, of course we know the electric and everything around that, right? Of course we know those things. But people act like they like every time they use AI, every time they use like Chat GPT or something or anything like that, they have to pay a whole gallon of water and then, $4 or $5 um to use it. I guess in a way, yes, but in a way, no, because it's like I can go right now on my phone and be like doom doom doom, and I'm not, truly paying anything to use it. So I'll say use AI as a tool. Use AI as a tool. Learn how to do agents. Learn how to create agents. Don P. Ben Yehuda. Yeah, I will have agent bots to bring back the information and make recommendations. Exactly. Agent bots creating AI assistants, AI agents. That's the way to go for now, for real. This is Terrence again. It's supposed to be. It is supposed to be a direct flight from Greensville. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Is so you said this is Terrence. Is this Terrence from Tanzania, or am I mistaken? CEO 9899. Did we meet in Tanzania? Please let me know. But yeah, guys, as you see, it's morning time. It's about 7:20 now. So that means a lot of people's about to start waking up. I'm surprised. Usually but my daughter, she was asleep with us and I had to like wake her up around like 4:30 to put her back. Okay, yeah. I was like, okay, what? It's okay. But yes, welcome, welcome anyway. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to you. Um, but yeah, usually my 4-year old, she's about to be 5 pretty soon. She wakes up first. She wakes up like at 5:36, and she always try to sneak on a tablet and just play on a tablet because she know that we sleep. But yeah, she usually be up, but she's knocked out. Um, but yeah, guys, any questions? Let me know before I'm about to get off. Usually, I try to stay on here about an hour. So thanks for the support, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for you know checking the links in the description. If you have not checked the links in the description, go ahead and do that for me. Do me a favor and just check the links in the description. Do have my ebook that is out. Um, 16 chapters, 80 pages of all the information when it comes down to investing, when it comes down to trading. So check that out. Um, Make sure you like the video if you are just now tuning in. Someone said, I'm looking to invest in gold mines in Burkina Faso with some other diaspora. Um, I guess that's my question. How can you get to Burkina Faso if they ban Americans and Americans ban the Burkina Bay? That's something that I'm confused about. A lot of people or a lot of countries they ban Americans. So that's a real question. So do you know anyone that's in Burkina Faso that is American? I can see if they were already in Burkina Faso, but if you're not in Burkina Faso right now, how can you get there if they ban Americans? I just don't get that. Yeah. But yeah, Burkina Faso, I would love to be there. Um, but with Burkina Faso, I would say you gotta know how to move around. You have to know how to move around when it comes down to move around like a local, move around a certain way. You get what I'm saying? Because each country is different. I can see Tanzania in a way, or Burkina Faso being similar to Tanzania. It's not like a Mauritius. Mauritius is a little bit different from Tanzania, or it's a lot different from Tanzania, to be honest. So I'll say that. But yeah, guys, all praises. In the video at the beginning, let me see. Okay, someone said my ancestry is okay. Permanent residency. One of my partners, American, is living there now. Okay, okay. So, like I said, this is why I like the community because I do have questions that way, and if you know people that is there and got the information, please let me know. And if you know people there, uh, if you don't mind, ask them to email us so we can, speak about certain things because, we have a platform that we talk to people on. Um, and a lot of people is interested in Burkina Faso. So just want to know how to, move around um, that way, to be honest. So, yeah, Don P. Ben Yehuda. If you can email us at journey with us, the number four, the letter U at gmail.com, that would be awesome. Because I do definitely have some questions and we can connect that way if it's WhatsApp or anything like that. So, yeah. Referring to the airport is supposed to be in the near future and beyond as prices to be the cheapest with other direct flights. Yeah, that's something. The sooner the better. The sooner the better. Um, I will say, yeah, the sooner the better. As oil is down right now, if you are thinking about traveling in the next before the year ends, you probably want to get it while or get your tickets while oil is down. Flights is probably going to be a little bit more cheaper. Um, but once all this stuff start pouring out, it's gonna the oil's gonna spike up and everything's gonna be more expensive. So that's jet fuel, that's oil. You get what I'm saying? That's a lot of things that goes into that. So yeah, yeah. Sooner the better. Sooner the better. He is also in. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. All praises. Um, but yeah, guys, I was just you guys now or been sticking around, or if you haven't caught the beginning of the live, I was just talking about what happened yesterday in the stock market. $1 trillion gone, and then South Korea stock market down 10%. That caused the $1 trillion to go down. A lot of pairs when it comes down to USD, US dollar, Japanese yen. That was moving weird. uh, Euro broke a major support level where it's a whole lot of downside if that happens. So that means that the dollar is strong and pumping up. So just breaking down all that, just letting people know all this is tied together. A lot of stuff is tied together. The earnings that's coming out, companies dropping their earnings report and stuff like that. Um, but we just have to realize that everything in this world is pretty much tied together, if, um, especially if you know this U.S. dollar is pumping. The liquidity in the market is pretty much gone. So that means that all around the world, it's less and less U.S. dollar. So yeah, just get out of America. I'll tell you that. Just get out of America, have your cost of living a little bit cheaper, let that US dollar extend. So check the links in the description, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Peace and blessings to you and your household. We about to get ready to get going. We got to do some things pretty early. And yeah, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. To be honest, I'm gonna try to be live a little bit more. Hopefully, like around this time, every time. Yes, thank you, Ricky. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Ricky. Yeah, check the comment, guys, for our email. Our email is at journeywithus, the number 4, the letter U, at gmail.com. Appreciate it, Ricky. Yeah, shalom, shalom. Good night, good morning, good afternoon to wherever you are tuning in. So greatly appreciate it, guys. And I'll be talking to you in the next video. Shalom.